Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Spooky AF. My name is Rob, and today I'm joined by my co-host Suz. Suz, how are you?
I am, again, a little weirded out that we're recording on a Monday, but other than that, I'm doing pretty well.
It is strange. It's very strange to be recording on a Monday. Yeah. Mostly just Monday evening.
Yeah.
It's kind of like throwing me off a little bit.
I saw something that was like, oh, well, fall is really fun because you wake up and it's dark, and you go to work and it's dark, and you get done with work and it's dark, and then you eat dinner and it's dark, and embrace the dark, become the dark. And if anybody lives up near on the line of latitude that we live and further north, it is dark.
Yeah, it's, there's a lot of dark
There's
going
so
on.
much dark.
It's okay though. We manage.
It's fine.
It happens every year.
We're
we know
we're
what's up with
very vitamin D deficient.
Mad vitamin D deficient. I think it's actually statistically people who live in Ireland are some of the most deficient vitamin D.
Well, did you hear about the kids in England? There's been a spate of rickets diagnosis, like it's fucking Dickensian England.
Of course there has.
They want some more.
No, they just need to eat oranges.
They're just like oranges and milk.
Yeah, nothing surprises me anymore. There's just no point in even trying.
No, our bones are weak and the time is short.
Yeah, that's very true. But yeah, I hope everyone is keeping well whenever there is that is that they're listening to this. I actually have a movie update for you, Suz.
No way.
I do. Yep. So you remember our Halloween episode last year where we talked about Avertoch, the Irish vampire?
I obviously remember that. That was brilliant.
You do, yeah. That was a great episode. Really enjoyed looking into that one. I mentioned at the time that there was a film about it called Boys from County Hell, and it was set basically in the world of Avertoch in modern day.
Wait, Rob, that was... I thought you were fucking with me. That was real?
It's real.
I genuinely thought you were just taking the piss.
No.
Oh, that's amazing.
No, there's an actual film, and... the reason why I know it's real is because I watched it.
I am delighted to hear this. I need to know everything about it.
So, basically, it's this modern day film. It was made in 2020.
Oh, wow.
And it's set in modern times.
Okay.
In the town where Avertoch resides, I suppose.
Yeah.
Or his body resides.
Is it up near Derry or?
Yeah, it's in the north, yeah. I don't want to say because I'm going to get the answer wrong, but it's in the north.
Yeah.
And the town that's there is, basically there's a town and there's an urban legend that there's a grave of a vampire basically underneath a stone cairn out in a field. And without giving away too many spoilers, the cairn gets knocked over and the vampire basically does his damage on the town effectively.
Nice.
It's very, very good. Mm-hmm. There's a very good mix of good Irish comedy and horror. I would definitely recommend it. It's a great film.
Cool.
I really enjoyed it. I went into it not expecting much, and it was really good. Pleasantly surprising.
I'm just pleasantly surprised it exists.
Yeah, it's to be fair, the name isn't great. Boys from County Hell is not one that I would really...
I would have thought that would be about, good old boys from my neck of the woods.
Yeah, well, there you go. Apparently not.
All right.
So, I would recommend. It's an Irish vampire film, basically.
Very cool.
It's quite good. It's got some, as I said, some humor in there, some horror. It's cool. Some cool visual effects as well. Avertoch, drains people's blood by just being near them, and their, blood, runs out of their eyes. Ooh. Or, out of their nose and stuff like that.
Ooh.
So he doesn't even need to be, biting them or anything. So they kind of do some different stuff with the, vampire lore, which is cool as well.
I like the idea of having, a contact high, but it's contact exsanguination.
That's literally what it is. There's a whole scene where they go through the whole process of it. It's very good.
Yeah, so it's when you smoke weed, you could hotbox people in a car. It's maybe if there were just multiple of them in a car with Avertoch, they would just all begin to bleed.
Exactly. So I'm all there for it. It's a good film.
That sounds great.
I would recommend. Yep. And that's my little movie corner for this week.
Very cool.
I also have recently discovered I'm assuming it's more of a Gen Alpha trend, or it could be Gen Z, of referring to your friends and people as chat.
Oh, honey. I have been on this train for weeks now. My mom is so confused. Because I'm always chat, come on.
I just can't get on board with it. I can't.
Well, Rob, you know this. I am actively trying to to like incorporate these Gen Z and Gen Alpha terms into my vocabulary, and so I have chat.
We talked about gooning. The last time we recorded.
What was the one I was taught this week? My husband kind of like doles them out to me in bits, so I don't get overwhelmed. What was the one this week? Well, I finally learned how to successfully use the word PogChamp. So that was, because for a while it confused me. But I think
I still don't know, so don't worry.
It's like like an epic gamer moment. But you would say...
Why can't they just say that?
Because that's old and we're wearing no-show socks.
Fair.
You know this.
Yeah, that's fair.
But I love that you have chat.
I am literally wearing no-show socks
well, yeah, I am too, because we were born in the 90s. Like...
And they look better. I'm sorry. It's not a controversial thing. They look better.
No, I'm going to tell y'all youngins this, okay? Youths of the listening world of the paranormal playground. My stepdad, God rest him, he wore, like, tall crew socks every day of his goddamn life. And this man was a Hispanic man, and when he took off his socks at the end of the day, he was ghost white from mid-calf down and had no leg hair. It looked super weird in the summer. Just be aware of what you're doing to yourselves.
That's my dad currently. His legs are just hairless.
Yep.
From wearing socks.
Which is fine, so, but it's kind of a strange aesthetic to have like furry legs down to mid-calf.
You do have to commit to it, like you really do, and I'm not about that life, so...
So no-show socks can stay until... well, it's much like skinny jeans. They can pry them off with probably like a coat hanger, my cold dead body.
Oh, you are all about the skinny jeans.
Oh, God.
And
I will never wear anything else.
Like, no, I know that about you. It was one of the first things I learned about you.
I put them on when they came into fashion, roughly like 2004, and I was like, oh, I have, this is my latest Poke evolution. I am now Charizard. Like, that was it for me.
Yeah, like you found what was you and you stuck with it, and I respect that. You know what you're about.
It was never a phase.
No, it was never a phase. But anyway, moving on swiftly to the episode at hand. So, as spooky season has now concluded, unfortunately.
Never in our hearts.
I got in no, absolutely. I managed to get in some final days of spookiness out where I live, where there was a festival on called Puka.
Yes.
And the great thing about this festival is that it's basically this kind of like pagan festival where they like light the Samhain fire and they celebrate Halloween in kind of the ways of old. Like there was people dressed up as like Vikings and things there, talking about like the beliefs and all that they would have had back in the day.
It's Samhain, right?
Samhain, yeah. And there was like naturally like a craft market and stuff there as well, which is super interesting, and all this other sort of stuff. And,
just to say, if people are interested in like the history of Samhain, you should definitely look into it. However, like a lot of Irish words, it is not spelled like it's said. So no,
it's not.
No, you should Google something along the lines of Samhain.
I will spell it for everyone listening now. So
there we go.
So they will know. It's Samhain. Samhain. So, you can go off and Google to your heart's content there, and you'll be delighted to do so. But anyway, while we were there, walking around, looking at things, there were like a bunch of like spiritualist shops and stuff like that as well, which were mad cool. And as I was walking around, I noticed that they had like black candles and like books on like spirits and all this and all that sort of stuff. And they also had like a section on like demons and all that. So, I was quite interested in it and kind of was like flicking through, and I was like, oh, this is pretty interesting, and then I pretty much left it at that. But then when I got home, I was like, do you know what, I'm going to keep the spooky going a bit more, and I'm going to like look into a few things online and see about the kind of like the history of like where demons kind of came from and all that sort of stuff, and spirits. And everyone who knows me knows that I'm not really big on the whole demon thing, but I was keeping, as I said, the spooky season going, so I just delved into it.
Rob, that's like your line in the brimstone, so to speak.
It is. I've done a lot of growing this week.
Yeah,
it's
clearly.
It's been good for me. But as I was looking into it, I came across this name multiple times, and I'm sure you've probably heard of it, Suz, or like one of the names. And the thing that kind of kept coming up was this name over and over again. So I was like, oh, okay, maybe this is something I need to look into. And holy shit, did I end up going down a rabbit hole of demons and Ouija boards.
Wait, Rob, you went down a rabbit hole of demons and Ouija boards? Those were the two things you told me you would never do. It was one of the first things you told me about yourself.
Yep, I have got on record multiple times on this podcast saying I don't want to fuck with demons or Ouija boards.
Are you listening, chat?
And here we are.
Sorry. Did I break you?
F's in the chat, boys. So I know these are my two lines in the sand, and I've converged them into one, and I've embraced it. So yeah, it was a strange one for me. But yeah, a bit of a weird week. But anyway, the name that kept coming up was the name Zozo.
Okay.
And I saw the name multiple times, and it was basically the name of a demon. So I was like, oh, interesting, because I know the whole thing about like demons having names and all that sort of stuff.
And if you know their name, you had to have power over them in some lore.
Yeah, and you can like summon them and all that sort of stuff. So I was like, oh, this is interesting and all that. So I was looking into it anyway. And the thing that I ended up discovering was this lad or creature or whatever you want to call it, Zozo, kind of pops up loads of times. And so much so that it's basically become known as the Ouija board demon.
Right.
And is supposedly like the demon that is summoned through the use of Ouija boards if you're trying to summon a demon.
So he's like,
and there's like,
much like everybody's having the same sleep paralysis demon, he is the Ouija board demon.
Yeah, basically. He's almost become this kind of like, he's basically like the symbolism of like Christianity's like fear of the occult, basically.
Okay.
That's the only way I can describe him. He has his own like wiki page and everything. But yeah, his name is Zozo, and then I'm just going to list off some of the aliases that he has, so you're like aware of like how kind of how far reaching this demon is.
Okay.
So we've already said the Ouija board demon, the demon of the Ouija,
right.
the jester,
Ooh.
Zaza, Oz, Mama.
Whoa.
Yeah, I know. It's a bit of a turn there. Abacus.
Okay.
Zozo. Just the demon. You'll know this one, I'm sure. Pazuzu.
Did you, Rob, did you just throw Pazuzu down?
I did.
Like the black tapes? Oh my god. Okay.
Yeah. Also the name of the demon in The Exorcist.
Yes.
Just for... And then finally, one that you will absolutely know about, and I will... Before I say the name, I'm not doing an episode on this, so just don't worry. Also allegedly known as the Enfield Poltergeist.
No.
Yeah. So I'm not doing an episode on the Enfield Poltergeist. Do not worry.
I will say that a lot of those names could just sound like the like kind of the children that are being named by younger millennials and older Gen Zs. Like,
definitely Zaza, Abacus.
Well,
and
wasn't
Mama.
Zaza? Oh no, sorry, I'm thinking of Zsa Zsa Gabor. That was different pronunciation. But
Yeah.
okay.
Well, there you go.
I was a little worried when you said Zozo, and I was like, if you are about to bring up clowns, I will have to exit the chat.
No. That's another line in the sand for me, actually. Demonic clowns. I won't go there either. But yeah, so Zozo's whole thing and his whole kind of like, I suppose his modus operandi is that he's known for possession and brute strength and kind of having an immunity to Christianity and exorcisms. Which,
okay, wait.
Is mad kind of problematic for exorcisms.
For sure. However, I would like to know how one gains an immunity to Christianity, because I grew up in the Bible Belt, and I would like to know that.
Says you're talking to someone who's born and bred in Catholic Ireland. I'd like to know the answers too.
So, if we were to do a Ouija board session, do you think we could ask?
I mean, we'd have to at least ask. How can you become immune to Christianity?
Okay, sorry, not to get you wrong. Okay, so yes, he's immune to Christianity, he's super strong, and he's real into possessing... Is it like possessing the bodies of others, or haunting them, or...
Yeah, that's his most common thing. Like, that's his main thing. That's what he's in there for. Funnily enough, as well, on his wiki page, his occupation is just listed as deceptive demon.
I'm sorry, he has an occupation.
He does.
Like, he clocks in and clocks out.
Yeah.
He builds up flexi time.
As well, his hobby is listed as driving his victims insane before killing them, and then his goal is kill whoever summons him.
This poor demon has had to write a CV.
Yeah, absolutely.
My KPIs are the level of insanity that I strive for, and the amount of bodies that my body count, which is different from
Yeah, exactly. You know, yeah. So his crimes that are listed currently attributed to him are possession, mass murder, psychological torture, animal cruelty, vandalism, stalking, and assault.
So he's a serial killer. He's achieved the McDonald triad.
Yeah, he's a serial killer, basically.
Okay.
This is what he's about. So as I was reading this page, I was like, well, now I have to talk about this. So I'm going to talk about his backstory, his kind of nature, and then list some possible encounters with him. Would focus on one in particular that is quite interesting.
Okay.
So his whole backstory is that he's allegedly a fallen angel who, like all demons, was banished from heaven by God. That's the main folklore and lore, basically, for all demons, is that they're fallen angels.
Yeah.
As I said, his main thing that he's known for is possession. And he allegedly, the whole thing about him and using possession was the main kind of influence for the name Pazuzu that was used in The Exorcist.
Okay.
So allegedly he's basically the influence behind it, is that's who they were writing about. They knew about him, and then they just changed the name slightly from Zozo to Pazuzu, which then basically in turn inspired the kind of modern version of Pazuzu, who comes from Babylonian culture. Yeah. So there's that whole kind of thing there. So allegedly he's the source of it all. So he's often said to mimic the voices of the dead.
Ooh.
Who the user of the Ouija board wants to talk to.
Okay.
So if you're using a Ouija board and, you know, doing whatever it is that you do with a Ouija board, trying to talk to the dead, and if you start hearing voices of your dead loved ones, this is generally a sign that it's him that's doing it. So this demon basically is mimicking their voices to try to, like, gain control over you.
Right.
And with this then, he's said to be quite cruel and sadistic. And basically he likes to prey on people's insecurities and fears. Which, you know, that's kind of Demon 101, to be fair. Like,
yeah, but now
that's what they're all
I'm
about.
kind of thinking, though, of, like, if there's, like, a Ouija board moment that somebody's having, and they're like, oh, I'm, you know, getting in touch with my mother, and then, like, the sadistic preying on insecurities, but, like, still mimicking a mother would absolutely be like, you've gained a little weight, haven't you? Oh, you chose to wear that today? Like, just really... And then the daughter's like, oh, God!
It is my mother.
It is my mother, exactly.
Mama.
And then the demon's like...
Maybe that's why he's known as Mama.
Exactly. He just says really snide things that only a mother can truly say to their child.
Well, you'll love this then, because what I was actually just about to say next is that he generally quite enjoys telling people, as I saw described online, brutally misogynistic things.
Oh God, of course. So he's both like, you know, your judgmental mother and also an incel?
Yeah, and when he doesn't basically get his way, he generally just tells people that they're going to die soon.
Do demons even have genders? Why misogyny? What is happening? Like...
I don't know. Like, that's the thing that sticks out to me as well, is like, man, you had like choice to go in any direction, to just be like overall just horrific to everyone, and you still embrace misogyny. Like, a decision was made there.
Oh yeah, 100%. Like, he was like, you know, I am an ethereal being that was created before either man or woman, according to biblical theology. I have been cast out of heaven for waging war upon God, and yet here I am, just trying to keep the bitches down. Like, you know what the real problem with all of this is? Tits. Like...
Yeah, that's literally like, yeah, you know, I really don't like anyone, but you know what the real problem is? Women.
Yeah, he's like, yeah, I really resent the fact that I was raising, you know, real questions and against, you know, this God I saw as an overseer. But have you ever thought that women shouldn't own property? Like...
Yeah, society as a whole really took a decline when we gave them the right
to vote.
Yes,
he's just like, there are so many hills to die on. Why do so many people choose that one?
Yeah, it's a weird one, all right. Yeah, I don't know. Yeah, but yeah, so he, apart from being misogynistic and telling people they're going to die soon, he also loves to like pretend to be like other spirits, and will kind of say that he's like different spirits in the room and stuff like that, trying to communicate with the living. Yeah, so sorry, I've just noticed, so where I'm recording, it's in my office, but I have my curtains open and it's like pitch black outside. And as we're talking about this, I've just noticed that every single light is off outside in our estate. Like all the other houses' lights are off. It's foggy outside, and the only light that is now on is off in the distance. It's a street light. There's only one street light on, and it's shining down. Genuinely looks like the street light from The Exorcist.
I was about to say, is there a shadowy figure standing there in like a trench coat?
Quite possibly. So it's really setting the scene now that I'm talking about demons.
Yeah. What's the demonic equivalent of a red dot in the middle of your forehead?
A crucifix.
Just
like an upside down crucifix.
Just right in the middle of your forehead.
Yeah, so the scene is really set for me now, which is great. So yeah, he often then will like toy with psychics, apparently.
I mean, fair fucks.
Yeah, 100%. I'm fully on board with that. So there's apparently been instances where a psychic has been adamant that there's 2 ghosts in the building or in the room.
Right.
And Zozo, to basically like fuck with them, will confuse them by claiming that there's 9 ghosts in the building instead.
I like that. Well, because that is one of my favorite horror films growing up was the adaptation of Stephen King's Rose Red. And they have that really effective scene, I thought, they're all sitting in the room and it tells you how many people are in the room. And then all of a sudden the number, without them noticing, just starts going up and up and up and up. And so I think that is actually a really potent, effective horror technique. But I do like the idea that he's like, there's not 3 people, there's 9.
Yeah, I love it. Like, it really like kind of sets the scene. And actually, what I'm about to say next, this is the most chilling one for me, I think, out of all of this. So to add to the additional confusion and also like fear, he'll apparently claim often enough that he's the ghost of a little boy and that he's afraid of a malevolent spirit haunting the place. So even the ghosts are afraid of this dark spirit that are haunting the building.
Oh, right. Ooh, because that does come up a lot in when you hear about other kind of haunted houses or something, or like that have kind of demon-esque the stories to them. They'll be like, oh, well, the demon will make you think it's a little girl, or will make you think it's an old woman or something. But yeah, so that's pretty chilling. Yeah,
absolutely. And I was just trying to like imagine being in that scenario where, say, you were like ghost hunting, or you were like with a psychic or something.
Yeah.
And a psychic is like, oh, there's the spirit of a little boy in the room, but wait, she's telling me that like he's afraid of a dark spirit here. Like that would immediately put you on edge even further.
Oh God, yeah, for sure.
Like to be fair to him, like masterfully done. Like I have to give it to him. Like, you know, I know we've already touched on how he's like horrifically misogynistic, but like he's got it down for terrorizing people.
Well, now I'm just thinking of a little boy being terribly misogynistic for no reason, being like, I'm scared of the other ghost, but I'm more scared of women on the internet speaking their mind, women with the right to choose. Like,
they show their ankles down,
exactly. You know. Oh God. I'm also thinking of us in that situation where I'm just like, right, okay, and you're actively just behind me spinning with like a huge vat of salt, just running around in circles.
Amazing. So he basically loves making his victims very uncomfortable, causing confusion, basically takes pleasure in making humans believe his lies. Right. So he allegedly has also been linked with trying to like come between friends, that kind of forcing them to fall out over his lies. So, you know, the whole kind of like, say like a Ouija board session is done and there's like friends doing it or something. If he starts to like possess them, he'll make like a friend think something about the other one and make them basically have like a fallout with each other. It's kind of like a weirdly innocent thing, but also like does damage to like obviously their social circle and all
it's kind of a dick move.
It is. But yeah, overall he's basically just this master deceiver. And his wiki page I think really sums it up quite well about that. So it says, he's a master deceiver, which is not surprising, as the devil is claimed to be the father of all lies, and Zozo is a powerful devil in hell under Satan. So, you know, it pretty much covers, like, summarizes them right there.
Yep, yeah, that's fair.
Yep, so he's learned from the best, apparently, and he's thriving. He's had his glow up, basically.
Yep.
So I'm going to just finally touch on some possible encounters with with Zozo. So I'm gonna list some brief ones first, and I'll finally touch on like a bigger one that is a much kind of larger story.
Okay.
So in 1972 in Los Angeles, a mother named Doris Blither allegedly used a Ouija board, and she said that she found herself haunted by a dark entity which sought her and her family harm. And when they kind of looked into it further, allegedly Zozo was the one behind it, and was eventually kind of expelled from her through exorcism or something else. Even though he's allegedly immune.
But the exorcism, what was that about?
Yeah, I know. But eventually, apparently, it was done, or he just got tired and left. I don't know which one it is. As I said earlier, between 1977 to 79, the Enfield poltergeist in Enfield, England, where a family got plagued by a malevolent force. Somewhere along the line, someone has made a connection saying that it's Zozo himself that got involved in this. I don't know, but I've seen multiple websites all claiming that it was him, so I just included it. Perhaps when we look into that episode in full length, we might find something there. But I just wanted to mention it because it was mentioned a few places. Yeah. In 2012, in Tombstone, Nevada, a small group of soldiers were off duty and basically decided that, they wanted to kill some time, so they decided to use a Ouija board for fun.
Okay, damn.
They made contact.
Did smartphones? I think that solved a lot of things.
Yeah, this is 2012, so I was trying to think about what soldiers would have had access to smartphones wise in 2012.
Yeah,
they would have all had iPhones.
But they had access to a Ouija board. Who brought that?
Well, I suppose it is Tombstone, Nevada, so Tombstone, I would imagine has a lot of
occult shops,
spiritualism shops and stuff like that, and yeah.
Okay, no, that's fair. That's fair enough.
Yeah, so they made contact with an alleged spirit who told them that he had died in Tombstone, and they communicated with him for a while, and apparently got some answers about Tombstone, and it was all fun and games and all that sort of stuff. On the way back, apparently, from wherever it was that they did this, it turned out that one of the men allegedly was actually possessed when they were driving back to their hotel, and he allegedly swerved off the road and caused a car crash, nearly killing them all. Everyone survived by what I can see, and allegedly Zozo left him then when he regained consciousness.
Oh, okay.
Again, I don't know how this is all linked to him, but I've seen it mentioned in quite a few places, so I've included it in there.
It also seemed like he was a bit slacking on that one. He didn't really finish the job. They neither went insane nor died.
Yeah, true. That's very true, actually. Yeah, I don't actually know what to think about that now. That's a good point. Yeah. I didn't really look into it too much, but now that you've said it, I'm like,
but no, fair, you know what? Fair enough, whatever.
Dropped the ball there a bit.
His KPIs are not going to be great this quarter.
No, absolutely not. And then in 2019, a YouTuber attempted to contact Zozo directly at 3 a.m. on his Ouija board. So perfect time, witching hour, setting it all up there for success. Allegedly, he made contact with Zozo. And this YouTuber decided to take it further and decided to ask him if there was a specific phone number that he could call for Zozo.
Wait, what?
The Ouija board allegedly answered and gave him a number. It was basically a load of sixes. And it started with 417, which I'm assuming is the area code. And yeah.
Okay.
And when the number was called, the lights apparently went out in the room during the phone call, and poltergeist activity was reported afterwards. When the YouTuber ended the call, the lights mysteriously came back on. Definitely not a hoax. Just want to point it out there right now. They would have no reason whatsoever to hoax a demon or a poltergeist on video that they just so happen to be recording and uploading online. That, definitely would not get them more views.
Rob, everyone was there.
Totally not a hoax.
Obama was there, and everyone clapped. A bunch of sixes. I don't know, chat. Chat? Is he capping? Full cap.
This potentially was the totally pog-chap moment that we were talking about. But, yeah. As I said, there's no way that this could have been a hoax, obviously.
No, obviously.
Because everyone online is telling the truth.
No one online has ever lied.
No, true. Very true. Everyone has nothing to gain online whatsoever by getting more views on their YouTube channel by, showing evidence of demons and spirits.
You are now cursed with 2 unskippable ads.
Oh, Jesus, that's the real marker. Yeah. So then finally, as I said, there is one case that kind of sets out Zozo as the antagonist more than any other.
Okay.
And this took place in 1951.
Oh, all right.
So a boy his real name we don't know, and it was protected because of his age and things like that. So he's become known as Roland Doe.
Oh, okay.
He was allegedly possessed by Zozo after using a Ouija board. And The thing that I found really interesting about this is actually quite a large case that I had never heard of before. So this took place in the States, and it involves the Catholic Church, exorcisms, demonic possession, a boy whose name is protected, basically like all of the hallmarks of an exorcism. Like it basically checks off all the boxes.
Anything that you can think to associate with an exorcism, it was there.
Yeah, exactly. So this 14-year-old boy was said to be the victim of demonic possession, and the events were actually allegedly recorded on film by one of the priests who was attending. And this priest has a phenomenal name just because of his surname. So this is Father Raymond Bishop.
Oh, well, he had no choice.
No, he had no choice whatsoever.
No. Like, he had to...
Like, just...
that was his destiny.
Oh, absolutely. Like, just phenomenal. Yeah, so this took place in Maryland, in the States. And allegedly, some of what went on here also inspired The Exorcist. So not just the name of the demon, but also the events that happened here. And just to stress, this did actually happen. The exorcism happened. I'm not necessarily saying...
I was like, damn, you're being real bold today.
No. The actual exorcism did happen.
Okay.
Though. So basically in mid-1949, several newspaper articles started printing these anonymous reports of an alleged possession and exorcism. And the source of these reports, with kind of history looking at it now, is thought to be the family's former pastor, who seemed to be kind of maybe like panicking and was looking for additional help but didn't want to like ask or something. I'm not 100% certain why it was posted in the newspaper, but this is what we have. So according to one of the newspaper articles, it said that a total of 48 people witnessed the events and one of the exorcisms that happened.
Okay.
Which I don't know why they specified that, but anyway, we're rolling with what we have anyway. So according to the author of one of the newspaper articles, Thomas B. Allen is the name of the author, if anyone's interested. A Jesuit priest was a eyewitness to the events and participated also in an exorcism, in one of the exorcisms on this boy. And Allen apparently wrote that diary kept by one of the attending priests, who I mentioned earlier, Raymond Bishop, detailed the exorcism performed on the unidentified boy, who became known as Roland Doe, given just a pseudonym obviously to protect his identity. So some people have come out to say that this whole series of events basically provides definitive proof that the boy was possessed by a demon, and that basically what happened is real. It's all real, that sort of thing. And allegedly a lot of the priests since then have all died under mysterious circumstances and things like that.
Naturally.
The sort of stuff that you'd expect from a case like this, of course. So I'm just going to briefly go into the actual events and how they happened. I won't give everything on it because it's actually quite a large case. I could have done a main case on it, but this is where we are. Yeah, so as I said, this happened in the late 1940s, and allegedly the source of all of this, which you'll love, Suz, was the boy's aunt. So she allegedly was a spiritualist, and she gave the boy a Ouija board when he expressed interest in it. So it's obviously the woman's fault that this all happened, just in case you were uncertain.
I mean, I do like the idea of, like, we may not have intergenerational wealth, but we do have this intergenerational Ouija board. Like, so in case you were interested. Oh, you are interested. Great.
Yeah.
No, I can't send you to college, but I can send you to hell. Sorry.
Oh, amazing. Oh, well done.
No problem. That was me channeling the ant there.
Oh, you caught me off guard on that one. Thank you. So according to one of the journalists, the boy's aunt, she died, and basically the boy was quite upset about this, and apparently at some point the family started experiencing strange noises or furniture moving on its own accord, and all sorts of things happening around the boy, like vases would go flying or would like smash and things like that. So the family turned to their pastor for help, and allegedly the pastor was interested in parapsychology.
Okay.
And so he decided to arrange for the boy to spend a night in his home in order to observe him.
Oh, this is weird.
Yeah, I know, yeah. Basically, he claimed that he witnessed household objects flying around the room, furniture moving by themselves, and basically this pastor was so freaked out by what he saw that when he returned the boy the next day, he actually told the parents to bring the boy to see a Catholic priest. So this pastor noped out and was like, he was a Lutheran pastor apparently, he was like, you know what, the Catholics have this one down, we can't deal with this shit.
I love that. I love that they're like, no, you need to go to another branch of Christianity because this is just a bit much.
Yeah, we don't have the power to deal with this one.
Like, there's only so much that Protestant work ethic can do, and it clearly can't get rid of this demon.
Yeah, we don't have enough hatred in ourselves to be able to
We
deal
are
with this,
really
so,
lacking some incense and a few indulgences, so...
Yeah, you got to go to the source. Sort them out. So, according to the story, the boy then was seen by a Catholic priest, and it was determined that he needed an exorcism. And as with all these things that happened, it went from one exorcism to multiple exorcisms that were performed on the boy. I'm not going to get into the details about that because that in itself is a horrific thing. But just to say, a Catholic priest by the name of Edward Hughes allegedly conducted an exorcism on the boy at Georgetown University Hospital, which was a Jesuit institution.
So he... so he performed the exorcism at the hospital.
Yes, yeah.
Right.
To emphasize, it was a Jesuit hospital, so it was a religious-run hospital.
Yeah, okay.
This was also in 1949.
So you could do fucking anything back then.
Exactly. Lobotomies were still happening at this point, so...
Oh, they were handing those out to women. They're like, oh, are you a bit sad today? Let me hack into your brain.
Oh, maybe if they had sorted out the boy's aunt before she gave him the family Ouija board, this would have been avoided.
She'd only taken the ice pick up the nose. She'd be fine. God, that's so grim.
Yeah, I don't feel comfortable.
Nope.
Anyway, so during the exorcism, the boy allegedly slipped one of his hands out of his restraints. Broke a bed spring off from underneath the mattress, and then used it as an impromptu weapon, slashing one of the priest's arms.
Holy shit.
Basically, yeah, so that basically resulted in the exorcism being, paused. They were like, you know what? We need to bring more power in with
Was
us.
that little boy like APAB? Like, all priests are bastards? Like, just going for it?
Must have been. So, allegedly, there were multiple failed exorcisms. So, that's just one example, but the others just failed to basically exorcise the demon from what I can see. Allegedly, around this time as well, there were multiple unexplained scratches appearing on the boy's body, and it was quite disturbing to see. And then the boy's mother, who was from St. Louis, she basically thought that maybe we should move away, give him a change of scenery. That might help, get him out of this whole environment.
I like that he attacked a priest, and she was like, maybe she's treating him like a Victorian sick woman, middle class woman, and maybe if we just take him to the seaside, get him a bit of air, he'll be fine.
I was literally just thinking one of those open air hospitals where it's that'll cure you.
Like a sanatorium or whatever.
Yeah.
If we give him sunshine, like a daisy, he'll be fine.
Oh, well, you're going to love what happened next.
No.
So she decided that they needed to move, but wasn't sure where. Okay. Now, remember I said she's from St. Louis.
Right.
So as the family were trying to figure out where they were going to move to get a change of scenery, the boy's body, allegedly the word Louis, Louis, appeared in scratches on his ribcage, right? Okay. So the mother seeing this went, that's where we're going to go.
Whoa.
Wait
a minute. So, what? So she saw the scratches and was like, this will cure the demonic. Let's listen to the demonic scratches.
Yes.
You know what? No, yes. I refuse to believe this. I refuse to believe. Sure, maybe he had Louis scratched on his ribcage, but you know what she did? She got in the paper and she was like, "We can afford a fucking house there," and then that's why they moved there.
Most likely, I would say that's more.
Yeah.
So that allegedly happened, and they decided St. Louis is where we need to be. So the family moved into a relative's home in some suburb outside the city. And during their time there, one of the boys' cousins actually contacted one of the professors at St. Louis University. Mm-hmm. Basically, they got in touch with the college church that was there and arranged for two priests to come out and visit the boy in his relative's home, where while they were there, they allegedly observed a shaking bed, flying objects, and what they said was the boy speaking in a guttural voice and exhibiting an aversion to anything sacred. So I'm assuming it's showing him the Bible, holy water, crucifix, all that sort of stuff.
Yeah, okay, no, but Rob, he's immune to Christianity.
True, he is immune to Christianity, but maybe the boy himself, we did establish he already attacked a priest, so maybe...
Okay, fair enough.
He did this of his own volition.
Yeah, okay.
So, basically the priest that was out, after he reported back to all of this, he was granted permission from the Archbishop to perform another exorcism. And this exorcism, again, took place in a Catholic hospital in St. Louis.
Yeah.
And, yeah, so again, happened in a hospital. and again, didn't really seem to do anything. They're not really too sure about that. But before this last exorcism began, another priest was called in, and he opted to go to the psychiatric wing of the hospital that the exorcism was going to be performed in.
Right.
Basically, they were like gathering up all of the priests that were operating there to basically be like, we're gonna get the gang together, like the whole like band in. We're gonna sort this lad out once and for all. So when they were doing this, the boy was moved to the psychiatric wing where they performed the exorcism, and this final exorcism apparently, while this all happened during the I suppose the exorcism, words such as evil and hell, along with like various other like religious marks and like evil marks, apparently appeared like out of nowhere on the boy's body.
Okay, bit on the nose, but okay.
Yeah, I know. And then during one of the like the lengthier kind of prayer sessions during the ritual or exorcism, whatever you want to call it, the boy's mattress began to shake. Before the exorcism ended, apparently the boy, through some sort of like extreme show of strength, managed to again like break out of his bonds or something, and he broke one of the priest's noses during the process. Yeah. This all happened, and that when they basically like the priest pushed through, they finished off the exorcism and like closed it out, that whole thing. Basically, from what they could gather, they managed to expel the demon from the boy, and from that point onwards, the boy allegedly led what they described as a rather ordinary life.
Right.
So just kind of generally mental.
Well, that must have been that was the 1950s though, so that absolutely would have been the like, once it was done, it was like, push it down, never talk about it again. Just,
yeah.
Like they say in the Book of Mormon musical, turn it off like a light switch. Like, you just said never deal with it.
Yeah, true. It's very, very strange. Yeah. There's a lot more to this, and I'm not going to go into it now because, like, there's a huge amount to it around, like, investigations subsequently and all, where people said that the boy was just looking for attention and apparently was known for throwing temper tantrums and all this sort of stuff. And,
I mean, that was one of my things, was like, is it... Because obviously it very well could have... I mean, the more logical answer is that it was some kind of either like mental health episode or some kind of neurodiversity episode that was manifesting in a certain way, and
yeah.
So and like, or it could have been a response to like trauma we don't know about, and
exactly, yeah. So there's obviously a whole lot more to this, and exorcism in generally ultimately is unfortunately, as history has shown, it's just unfortunately it's people who are suffering from mental illness that are being effectively like preyed on, and we're not about that. But an interesting story nonetheless, if you just take it at face value.
Yeah.
I find anyway.
I mean, it does sound like it sounds like the effective setup to, some kind of Exorcist story.
Like it's basically the story of the Exorcist.
Yes, it is. Like
it's yeah, so it's an interesting one. But yes, allegedly, the overall antagonist behind all of this was Zozo the demon.
Right.
And he apparently got up to all of these shenanigans, and after multiple exorcisms decided that the boy had had enough. He was tired, obviously, and was like, you know what, I'm done, see you later, and noped out of there. And yeah, that's basically Zozo. There's, as I said, like a weird amount online, like quite a large amount online actually, about this demon.
Yeah.
And yeah, just very, very interesting, I found. As I said, this was one of my lines in the sand, as was Ouija Boards, and I basically kicked those out of the way for this week, so it even surprised me.
Yeah.
So
No, there were...
It was a strange one.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, it does lead me to believe that he is not immune to Christianity.
Yeah, so that's something that I wanted to finally touch on, is like his alleged kind of immunity to Christianity. I suppose like it took multiple exorcisms to eventually get rid of him, but yeah, I agree. It's, is he actually immune to?
Yeah, I was like, what does it mean
to Christianity?
I guess my question is, what does it mean to be immune to Christianity?
Yeah, that's true. That's very true. I don't know.
I mean, because I'd like to think that it would mean that just from the look on my face, no one would ever try to give me the good news. But that I have found is not true, despite the look on my face.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So, I don't know. I'd be interested to ask. Yeah. I'd be interested to ask him.
Yeah, I'd be curious, like, how has he worked this one out? Like, what exactly does it mean?
I mean, I will say, Rob, while you were telling me about the incident, the more recent incident that definitely was real and definitely happened because they didn't just need views on YouTube, I did a quick Google of...
I'm so glad you did.
Zozo Demon fan art and Zozo Demon fan fiction. And would you like to know what there exists out there?
I would love to know.
So, I don't know if y'all listeners know this, but people on the interwebs have the tendency to take a horror figure that has emerged from either kind of occulty stories like this or from things like creepypasta. I'm very, in particular, thinking of like Slender Man, and turn him into like a weird emo boy that they kind of ship. And so there is, so the Zozo fan art ranges from him as like a fucking jack to the tits, like evil demon, like could tear down your house with a look, or like sideswept anime bangs and black angel wings next to like a hollow-eyed pale girl. So there's also a t-shirt you can buy here that just says I Heart Zozo. So there's that. But the real treasure is when you start looking into Wattpad, Zozo the Demon fanfictions. So I've found one here, just my initial look, that is, it's not only about Zozo the Demon, it's about Zozo the Demon needing saving from the main character. The main character is not named because it is Y/N, which I don't know if you're like literate in the fanfiction world. That means your name, so you're supposed to read it with your name as the main character. So
I love this so much.
It is literally about a girl whose friend summons Zozo, and she basically becomes possessed, and then the other, like you as the main character, come over, and it seems like you establish a relationship with Zozo, and you get him to leave the best friend, but then he suddenly wants you but really he needs saving because he's a sad emo boy, and the tag for this is just like a little bit of like a picture of a Ouija board, and it just says that he needs saving. So if you're looking for more Zozo content, you're more than welcome to go that direction.
Thank you for this wonderful gift. Just such a weird episode.
I know. Well, I was just thinking, it was like, yeah, because it was very Paranormal Activity, it was very Exorcist, and then I thought, what has the internet done with this? And naturally, they've turned it into shitty erotica, which is like so on brand, it just makes me proud.
Yeah. Well done, internet. You know, you've outdone yourself again.
I mean, you take anyone who could even loosely be defined as morally gray, and there are hounds like women who will be just clinging to that.
Phenomenal. I love this. You know what? I'm not going to look up Zozo fanfic. I think even just reading what I read this week was enough for me.
What I'm going to do is I'm going to wait till your next birthday, and on your birthday, I'm just going to start sending you these long messages where I have copy and pasted the most audacious Zozo fanfic I can find. And then all day you're just going to be, you're just going to get that just throughout the day of your birth.
Thank you very much for that.
You're welcome.
I appreciate that. This is why we're friends.
I'm a buddy.
You do this for me.
No, I thought that was great though. Like that, I number one, I'm very proud of you because that was very demon-y and very Ouija-y, which you are very not y. And number two, sure. I do like it does line up with everything you're kind of told about Ouija boards is that you can never be sure who you're talking to.
Yeah, that's true. That is very true. You're not supposed to, trust too much in what you're doing because, it could be, as we've seen, a demon in being an imposter, basically.
For sure. I think my favorite, incarnation of this in vaguely modern media would be in American Horror Story Coven, where they use a Ouija board and they end up accidentally summoning the Axemen of New Orleans. Yeah. So, no, sorry. So if you're interested, there's a great, sort of Ouija board storyline in that. But yeah, no, I mean, Rob, I'd be really interested in doing a Ouija board session with you.
Maybe.
Well, would you be the one person that's like, wait, nobody get up from the table, we didn't slide over to goodbye?
Oh, okay, I'll put it this way. If we do one, and it's an if, we're doing it correct.
We are following all the protocols.
Yeah, even though as I said, I don't know if it's real. I don't want to find out that I'm wrong. I don't actually think it's real.
Are we going to be inside the salt circle?
Yes.
Oh, okay.
It gets closed. all of that sort of
Yep.
stuff. There's no, shenanigans going on there. We're doing it correct. We're not asking for phone numbers. We're not inviting that in. Not
I
happening.
will say Ouija boards give me, I would love to believe that there's an afterlife in which I could interact with a Ouija board, because then I would just do, like dipshit answers to stuff. Like, they would ask me for a phone number, and I would just be like, 8675309. I would just fuck with them. And they wouldn't know that song because they're young. So... Yeah.
To be fair, you could also come out with the most horrifically misogynistic things you could possibly do to take it back.
What?
So you could basically be like, do you know what? You're not doing misogyny correct, so I'm gonna take it back. Take it back for all the women.
I'm gonna reclaim misogyny.
Yeah, what? You're gonna make it your own.
So I'm gonna turn into misandry, I just start ragging on men constantly.
Yeah, basically, yeah. You start it off, that's it. You lull them into a false sense of security.
I could be
make them think that you're just being misogynistic, and then you turn it around on them.
I could be like, man, it's not cool, women owning property. No, what? Let's take it further. Property at all. Boom, we're talking socialism. I just completely make a left turn at every possible occasion.
The ghosts of communism.
God.
Oh, do it. If anyone can do it, it's you.
Thank you. Oh, I love that. No, I like the idea that I would only possess people who piss me off enough by being assholes but then I just possess them to do really annoying things that will ruin their life, but in a really petty way. I'll take them into an English exam, and I'll be like, oh, no, don't worry, I did a lot of this when I was alive, and then I'll just write the worst essay that's ever been written. Just really, really petty shit. I'll be like, oh yeah, I texted your girlfriend those screenshots of that other girl you were snapping. Whoops. And they'll be like, she's just the fucking worst demon ever.
I didn't do anything to deserve this. I don't know why.
Chat, what do I do? I'll demonetize all their YouTube videos.
Oh, that's a step too far.
Oh, I know. Now I'm getting even the devil's like, whoa, friend.
Jesus, we're not that evil, all right?
Everybody's got their hustle. Come on. Times is hard.
Yeah, well, man's got to eat.
God. Oh, I'll replace all of their bread with gluten-free bread.
Good.
Yes.
That's some phenomenal work right there. That in itself is brilliantly evil.
For sure. Be like, oh, you like smooth peanut butter? That shit is crunchy.
Well, all I'm gonna say is peanut butter in general can all just go to hell. So
And this is where we have to cut the episode because that hurts me. This is where our friendship meets a point of the crevasse of our friendship.
This is the real line in the sand.
It's not the existence of the paranormal, it's the deliciousness of peanut butter.
I just can't do it. It's not for me.
We'll talk about it later, Rob. We'll fix it in post.
Thank you. I appreciate
no problem.
that. Yeah, I hope everyone enjoyed this weird episode, whatever it was. I hope it was enjoyed.
Absolutely.
If you do look up some Zozo fanfic or fan art, let us know your favorite. I'll at least share it with Suz. I may not read it myself, but Suz definitely will.
I will 100% read it.
Yeah. So, let us know what your favorites are. I'd be curious to see what that is. You can let us know on Instagram at the SpookAFpod. You can email us your favorite fanfic at Gmail at the SpookAFpodcast@gmail.com. Get us on Threads at the SpookAFpod, and we're also on YouTube. So plenty of places to let us know what your thoughts are on this one. But with that said, I hope you are all having a lovely day whenever it is that you're listening to this, and we'll see you in the next one. Take it easy, guys.
Bye, y'all.